This championship weekend, you can trade zero commission prediction market contracts on the big game with Webull. Years ago, Seattle and New England faced off in a championship game that came down to one final moment at the goal line. Those storylines don't just live on TV. Now they show up in markets. If you want to approach sports prediction markets like a trader, you don't start with vibes or gut feeling or fandom. You start with how the market itself models the game. At the macro level, every game is being priced through a few core markets: the game winner, the spread, the total, and then on a more granular level, team-specific totals. All of them describe the same event, but each one answers a slightly different question. Who wins? By how much? At what pace? When you look at those prices together, you're seeing the market's initial game script. Professionals don't look at these prices in isolation, they compare them. That's the first shift away from intuition alone. You're no longer asking, who do I like? You're asking, what kind of game is the market pricing, and does that make sense based on their historical performance? From there, you can go one level down into how football games actually unfold. Games are not one continuous product from kickoff to final whistle. Early phases tend to be conservative and scripted. Later phases, especially when game state becomes clear, force behavior. Teams that are behind increase aggression. Teams that are ahead shift towards clock control. Pace, play volume, and decision-making changes, sometimes dramatically, even if the score still looks close. That's why first half markets and full game markets aren't interchangeable. Second halves are information expansion, adjustments, fatigue, desperation, clock mechanics. Once you understand that, team totals become one of the cleanest ways to express a view. A team that can score efficiently without pushing tempo fits a control script. At that point, you're no longer thinking in terms of overs and unders, you're thinking in possessions, play style, pressure. Then you layer in live markets where this starts to feel less like sports and more like fintech. Prices update continuously as the market digests new information. But the score alone doesn't tell you what's actually happening. Live pricing is constantly trying to interpret that distinction, and in big games especially, emotion and narrative can temporarily overpower pace and efficiency signals. That's where trading mentality matters most, because now you're managing uncertainty, not chasing outcomes. Instead of needing one exact result, traders shape exposure across different markets. When multiple markets align around the same game script, fast start, slow finish, control early, chaos late, combining them isn't guesswork, it's a structured view of the game. So when you see game winner odds, spreads, totals, first half lines, team totals, and live prices all on the same screen, you're not looking at different ways to wager, you're looking at different ways the market models pace, efficiency, control, and game state. That's the modern way to engage with the big game, not as a hunch, as a live market. Prediction markets turn that information into prices, updating in real time as the game script changes, and trade different views of the big game, all in one place on Webull.